back on the show.
Hello.
From Glow, and I'm really excited about this. Our spa does so many treatments with acneic skin, and I have clients who are like, "Oh, when's your acne podcast coming on?" Because they're so excited to learn about this. So, Anne, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. Anne is a new mom. How old is your baby now?
Yes. He will be 5 months and 2 weeks. So.
Oh my gosh.
Brand new baby. Yeah.
Happened like that. I feel like you
Yeah.
were like, announcement, going on maternity leave, and then
Yeah.
baby's planning the 1 year party soon already.
Oh my gosh, it seems that way. I mean, it's moving so quickly, and I mean, it's great that we're at the topic that we're actually covering. Like, I mean, I'm dealing with acne right now because of hormones, so there's all kinds of stuff that we can tie into this.
I'm gonna write a note because that is so. I don't want to say awesome, but it's good timing. That I'm sorry you're dealing with that, but you'll also be able to help all the moms out there as well.
Absolutely.
So, when I was putting this together, I wanted to ask you, and did you have acne as a teenager, or did you ever deal with it growing up?
Yeah, not when I was like a younger teenager, but definitely like older teenager into my 20s. And actually, I've had more problems with acne in my 20s than I ever did as a teen.
Really?
And it is, it's crazy. Like, hormones can have so much to do with it. Stress, lack of sleep, diet, all those things, obviously. But, and I'm not alone in this. There's actually a lot of women and men, people, that I've spoken with that said, I never dealt with this as a teenager. And here I am, in my 20s and 30s. Where is this coming from and why?
Yeah. I wonder if it's a lot of extrinsic factors too, just the way everything is right now, and then if you're not eating more whole foods, because like back in the day, a lot of people ate more whole foods. We're eating a lot of preservatives, is on the go. I'm just wondering if that has anything to do with it.
It's interesting. There's a lot of people that will like kind of look at it from one direction or the other. It's kind of like, Western medicine versus Eastern medicine. And in my opinion, if you go at it from both ends, you're going to be able to find like the best reasoning or, the best way to treat it for yourself. But it can really be anything. Like if you're looking at pollution, if you're looking at lack of hydration, and that's not just drinking water. That's like, do you need a hyaluronic acid serum? Like, because it's evaporating out of your skin too quickly because you live in the desert or something. There can be, are you washing your pillow sheets? Is your phone dirty? Do you have an allergy to dairy? Do you have an allergy to gluten? I mean, it can be, do you have all of a sudden a hormonal change? Are you on a different type of birth control? Like, adult acne is one of those things where you could basically throw a dart at a wall and it could literally be anything. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
you're like,
so many
what
possibilities. Yeah. Completely.
You really have to keep a diary. I tell my clients, I don't know if you recommend this too, but like, what exactly did you change, and take that out and do one at a time? Because you want to like take everything out at once, but no, just do it slowly, or else you're never going to be able to isolate that one thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting too, because a lot of times, like, it's kind of like a snowball effect, So you'll end up getting acne because of one thing, and then next thing you know, you're like trying all these products, and then you're like stripping the barrier. You're like not getting, like, your skin's not getting enough of oil or water, but at that point it's like getting worse. And then if you start picking at it, you could be moving the bacteria around that way. And so sometimes by the time you see a client, there's like 20 different things that are going on, and you kind of have to figure out, like, all right, what's the original reason for this? Like, we've got to shave down all the layers of the onion to get to the center.
That is so true. Well, I would love to start from, like, for 101 acne, and just kind of talk about, like, what is acne, and also, like, what are the types of acne. And we went into like the causes of acne just now, because there can be just so many variables, so many causes too. But let's just, like, what is acne, and like what are the types of
Yes.
acne? Just
So,
to kind of start off.
Acne is actually named after a type of bacteria. Like we call it P. acne, and I can never remember like the full name because it's pretty long. But it's named after a type of bacteria, and that bacteria is actually supposed to be in the skin, just like a ton of other bacteria are. But when things kind of get out of whack, that's when that bacteria starts to thrive. So if there's excess oil, especially in the follicles, that's what that bacteria loves to eat. And the more bacteria that's around that follicle or in that pore, that's when you start to see inflammation. That's when your lymph comes in, basically trying to fight it. That's when you get things like whiteheads, or pustules as they're called. But it's interesting because like even without P. acne bacteria, there's still other things that can happen in the skin. So we have basically open and closed comedones. So that's basically just like a clogged pore. Those typically you don't see that type of inflammation. You've got open and you've got closed comedones. Those are lacking inflammation, but those are basically like the really easy extractions that you see. The pustules and the papules that are the more inflamed ones, that's when you actually see that P. acne bacteria in there. And I mean, those are kind of like the core ones, but then there's also different types of bacteria that can affect things differently. They sit in different layers of the skin. In the aesthetics world, we are really only taking care of the ones that are like on that top layer of skin, the top 5 layers of the epidermis, and depending on the state that you're in and if you're working under a license, that can change. But there are different types of bacteria that can actually go in really deeper, and that's when you see that sort of like, I mean, this terminology is awful, but that's sort of like cottage cheesy skin, that's
Right.
just like
Yeah.
really bad, that typically needs like, a medical professional. But that's acne.
And cystic acne, that's challenging as well because it's
Yeah.
underneath the skin, and I know that's frustrating for a lot of people as well.
Yeah, that one always breaks my heart the most, and typically they have to go on something that's a lot more intense, like Accutane. But there's nothing wrong with taking Accutane, and if you still want to go to an esthetician, just for like regular facials and things like that, you absolutely can. Just make sure that you're keeping your dialogue open between your medical professional and your SD. So.
Oh yeah, of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yes, I'd love to talk about well, we talked about causes of acne, but let's just go into also the hormone part, which you're experiencing right now. And did you experience, so we'll start with, I know there's, you have teenage acne, then like you said, adult acne, but this is totally different. This is hormonal when you're pregnant, and then when you're, after you've had the baby. Did you feel like you were starting to see an increase in acne during your pregnancy, and like what month was that?
Honestly, it was kind of during the whole time, and it's just because, for me personally, like hormones affect me very intensely. Like I have issues with my thyroid already, and so like for me, like I'm very sensitive to any type of hormonal changes, and I know when it's going on because my chin, it's just like poof. Like it comes up like out of nowhere, and it's so hard because there's really not much you can do when you're pregnant as far as like treating it. You can't use certain ingredients that are typically used for treating acne. So at that point, that's when like vitamin C and hyaluronic acid, become your best friend. And clean your pillow sheets as much as you can, drink a lot of water, and then just hope it doesn't pigment. So, but the prenatals do help a lot with that. So.
Right. A lot of people don't think washing your pillowcases, it makes a big difference. And then
Huge.
also your towel when you get out of your shower.
Oh, yeah.
I like to actually have a separate towel, like a face towel. And then I'll like section it off. Like this is one side, this is two sides, flip it, there's another. And then if you're using like a washcloth or like some kind of cleansing device in the shower, that really needs to be, I love little microfiber washes, cloths, that's what I like.
Oh yeah.
Those are my favorite. But you have to keep using a fresh one.
Oh yeah,
sure.
Honestly, like, and I know that this isn't really realistic for everybody, but I think I've just been doing it for so long. It's just second nature to me now. Like, I have a clean towel every time I take a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that's not realistic for everybody, but like it does. It makes a huge difference for me and my skin and my body. Like, I mean, even like if there's just like a little bit of dampness in there, if that touches my skin, like on my legs, it's gonna dry up and it's gonna be itchy. So I'm just like, no, clean towel.
And then
every day.
how often do you clean your pillowcases?
Oh, twice a week.
Twice a week. You flip it over. You can do 1, 2,
Yeah,
3, 4.
well, and I've
yeah.
got like I have so many pillows. Like I look like a psychopath because I like to be comfortable, but I have so many pillows, and I'll just like switch them around.
I am the same way. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. And then for phone, okay, so for your phone, that is up to our face so much.
Yes.
There's this little sanitizer that I just got from Amazon that you can just put your phone in. I have that at the spa, and we can just sanitize it. It takes like 3 minutes. And then when I come in the back door of my house, I actually have little nail wipes, and I do alcohol, and I just swab it real quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like right
so
there.
Funny. You don't think about, your phone having
No.
all this stuff, but it's like think about where you're like keeping it as well. I mean, I know some people like to keep their phone in their back pocket. If they go to the bathroom, like a public restroom, they like sit it on the toilet paper dispenser. They wash their hands and they don't even think about like what their phone just touched. I mean, keeping your phone in your purse. How often do you wash the inside of your purse?
Yeah.
Like never, right? Nobody washes their purse. So can you imagine the stuff that's like floating around in there just from you being in and out in public spaces? I mean, you name it. I mean, that stuff, these bacteria and things are so teeny tiny that like anything can be on it. Like it's super gross.
Yeah, those things make a big difference.
Yeah.
So what do you think about it? So I have started at home microneedling, which I actually really like. I don't know if you try that or not, but it's safe for pregnancy. And then you can get all your, your ingredients in there, and it can help with, you'd have to watch the areas that are active acne, of course, but I've just heard really good things about it.
I did dermal rolling, and I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
It actually has helped me with some of my stretch marks, which is like a totally different
good.
world. But yeah, I actually dermal rolled quite a bit. Didn't actually use a pen. But yeah, I mean, honestly, if that's what's going to work best for you, it's going to get that skin oxygenated, all that good stuff. Now, the reason why you want to avoid the active breakouts, obviously, is because, when that needle goes in there, you're basically moving it across the skin. Something else to kind of keep in mind is, even the inflammation part, like that bacteria could be floating around there. By adding any type of pressure, you could be creating, more blood flow, which will allow that bacteria to sort of move. So definitely be wary of the areas that are
Those areas,
that are active.
for sure.
But yeah, I loved doing it.
So for your stretch marks, this is off topic, but I'm like, did you put, because I'm going to use my micro needling on my stretch marks. Did you put something like on top of that? What did you use? Hyaluronic acid?
No, I used our BioRenew EGF drops.
Okay.
So it's vegan epidermal growth factor serum. And when I tell you, and it does have hyaluronic in it too, so it is hydrating. But girl, when I tell you that stuff is like amazing, and I am totally plugging Glow right now because it's just one of those products that like everybody should have it. It makes a huge difference if you're doing those sort of at-home treatments, or even if you're if you're going through the treatment process, if you're going through chemical peels, if you're going through facials or laser or anything like that. That's just one of those healing agents that's gonna really make your skin just super, super healthy.
Yeah, I have that one in my skin fridge. I loved it. And when I did the professional microneedling, I'd use that one as well too. So yeah, great results. I love it.
Love it.
So good. Yeah, that's a good one. But when you hear stretch marks, I'm like, so what did you use? What?
Yeah. Now, for some of like the really deep ones, like, you will need to go to like a professional because any consumer needle that you get is not going to go deep enough. And that's when you definitely want to go to a professional and get that done. But you can absolutely do like dermal rolling and stuff like that for some that are, not super, super deep. But yeah.
So for your acne during your pregnancy, and you're experiencing it still a little bit after, what are you doing? Like what has helped you the most through that?
Honestly, hydrating. I know that sounds crazy, but like for me, not being able to use certain ingredients, and again, that's a conversation that you should be having with your medical professional. Like, don't take your advice from me. Like, I'm an esthetician, but like, ask whoever it is that you're working with. But for me personally, like keeping my skin as hydrated as possible was key in everything. So even if I did have a breakout, my skin was healthy enough to where it could deal with it very quickly, and I wasn't seeing any acne scarring like I used to in my earlier 20s. And I also wasn't getting any post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation because it was going away so quickly.
I was going to say, some people may think you're just talking about drinking a lot of water, but you're not talking about that with hydration. So explain to them, like, what exactly do you mean by that?
So obviously drinking water is really important, especially when you're pregnant, because like you get all that extra like blood that you're carrying around for your baby. But there's also like topicals, so hyaluronic acid. Again, I'm going to do a little glow plug here, but we do have our HA Revive hyaluronic drops. That hyaluronic acid is formulated to have a smaller molecule, so it's actually going to go deeper into the skin. For people like me who are naturally dry, already have hormonal issues, and that dryness sometimes comes from hormones, for the water to be able to go down that deep really helps to make sure that my skin is nourished enough to treat any type of inflammation that pops up. Because if your skin's healthy, like you can still get breakouts, but you're not going to be dealing with them for such an extended period of time as you would say like if your skin's dry, if your barrier's impaired, that type of thing. So yeah, topical hyaluronic acid was and still is just a game changer for me.
And I love putting that on my skin while it's still damp, and that's really important. So, because with that hyaluronic acid, it has its weight in water, and you will just want to make sure that it gets in there. So,
that tiny little molecule holds 1,000 times its weight in water. Like, you want to talk about like a punch of hydration? It's so incredible. And it's funny too, because you don't think about something like being hydrated, like not just water, but as we said, a topical, being able to help treat your acne. But it absolutely does. Your skin has to be able to function properly in order to take care of any little thing that pops up. So,
100%.
Yeah.
So what is your take on cleansers, like milky cleansers and cream cleansers and oils? Because the esthetician world and dermatology world, I was doing some research on this, is split. You'll have one esthetician that's like, absolutely not, no way, you should stay away from that. And then you'll have another one that will, I'm one of those that will be like, well, it's kind of like what that client's skin needs, and if they can handle it, and if you're, you see them a while, what their skin is like, I'm okay adding that into their routine, and we just kind of keep tabs on it. Because if the barrier has been, if it's been stripped too much, I just want to make sure that we're just, like you said, we're keeping that intact. We're not stripping it too much. We're just keeping it like nice and hydrated and repaired. So I just kind of wanted to know your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the type of person that I don't deal in absolutes. Like, I will never tell you that this is the same thing across the board, because everybody's different. Everybody has different needs. I'll give you an example of when I was still in the treatment room. I had a client who, she had really bad acne around her jawline. It was like all hormonal. But her skin was so dry on her cheeks and her forehead. Like, she didn't have acne there, but like her face overall benefited from having a milk cleanser. And there was even dryness here. The hormonal acne that she got ended up being from a food allergy. So once she was able to treat that, it completely went away. But actually having that hydration where it needed to be, help keep that skin barrier healthy so that it wouldn't like move around and fluctuate because everything else was so dry. That's just one
Right.
example. Now, there's also things that you have to take into consideration, like what's someone's lifestyle, what's their preference. Like, again, being the type of person who doesn't deal in absolutes, like I could tell somebody, oh my gosh, you have to use salicylic acid. Like, that's what it's going to do. And if they say, I don't like how this product smells, you best believe I'm going to find something else that they can use, right? Because there's
Right.
all different ways that you can treat acne. There's different ingredients that work a different way. You may have somebody who an oil cleanser would be great for them. Like, take a dry client, but they just don't like how it feels. You know, it's like, okay, well, let's find something else for you. But yes, when it comes to an acneic client, oil sometimes will help. Oil breaks down oil. It just depends on what it is that their skin needs, you know, what it is that you're trying to treat, what type of acne are they dealing with. I mean, anything goes
Right.
in the treatment room.
Yeah, I love how you said that. You know, it really just depends how. Check in with your client and see if they'll do it if they like it. And just like you said, they don't may not even like the way that there's a scent to it, or it bothers them, or they don't like the way it feels. They can be turned off, even though it's a good product for them. They can still there's something with it that's just not meshing well with them. So, like you said, you're gonna bet you're gonna find something else. There's so
Yeah.
much stuff out there. Something else can work.
Oh yeah.
100% for sure.
Well, and the
Um,
last thing you want is for a client to purchase a product that you like know is amazing and fabulous, and then they hate it, and it just sits underneath
Yeah.
their sink for 6 months, and it's just like, man, like we could have got you something else, like.
Exactly. You want them to you when they're thinking of you as an esthetician, you don't want them to have a bad experience, you know. You
Right.
want them to put their skincare on and be like, "Oh my gosh, I love my esthetician. This is so
Yes.
amazing."
Exactly. We gotta take care of all the angles here.
All the angles. That's true. I also really liked how you mentioned allergy tests. So it's just so important to, as you said, get that gut check, and your
Yeah.
body talks to you. It tells you things, and
yeah.
allergy tests are so important because there may just be something in there that your skin just is saying stop having that. And then once that's corrected, I've had many clients that had a dairy allergy or you know, intolerance actually, or gluten sensitivity. There's different levels too. There's intolerance, there's allergic, there's sensitivities. It really just depends. So I thought that was a
Yeah.
great point.
Well,
For
and
sure.
the,
So yeah.
the face mapping, if you guys have seen like
Yeah.
the Chinese face mapping, there's like
Yes.
literally areas of the face that are indicative of different organs that may be out of whack. And you know, that's again going into that sort of Eastern medicine side, but in my practice that's
Right.
something I used religiously, and then I would pair it with other things like Western side, like, you know, ingredients and stuff like that. So it's amazing.
I love a good pairing. Like I used to work for an acupuncturist, so that is so. Yeah, it is fascinating to see how Western and I love how it meshes all together. And absolutely, I loved actually getting facial acupuncture. That was a fun fave for me. I loved.
That just sounds so relaxing.
Yeah, it really was. I loved it. So when you were pregnant and now, what is certain ingredients? Like, did you also use like your cleansers and your serums? What exactly did you use?
Yeah, it was very gentle, just because for me personally, I was easily sensitized, and it's just because like I held so much fluid, that like I would get hot really easy and like putting too much pressure. So I just wanted it to be like as easy as possible. So like, you know, gentle cleansers, hyaluronic acid, vitamin C. I used a lot of vitamin C. I also did our brightening polish as like my exfoliant, and then definitely just made sure I wore a sunscreen. It was very simple, very basic. Now I am nursing now, so I'm still a little bit wary, but I'm getting back into the whole mode product junkie, as I like to call her. She's my alter ego that will go crazy over products. And so she's slowly making a comeback. And so it's like, all right, I'll use a little bit of retinol in this spot. It'll be fine.
Yeah. It's hard not to go wild because you have, you're,
Yeah.
especially you just have everything at your fingertips. So,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean all of it. Well, and it's funny too just because like, you know, being an esthetician, it's like you can work on yourself and, you know, for the most part know how to fix it unless you really have a big oopsie. But yeah, before I got pregnant, I was like, I mean, I would mess my face up just because I wanted to try something. Like, I know glycolic does not get along with me very much, but you best believe if there was like a new glycolic product, like I was gonna try it. Of course I was. So I
Yeah.
would just fix it later.
glycolics are fun. They're very strong. I have to
Yeah.
spot treat my my face with glycolics for sure. So,
Oh yeah.
Okay, so let's say that you have more of a teenage client and they are having, and I would say teenage all the way through right out of college or maybe mid to upper 20s. Like what are you generally going to tell them to use? What are your, even with Glow, like what are your favorite products for that?
Yeah, well, again, it still goes back to like what type of acne are they experiencing? Because if somebody has like inflamed acne, you have to treat that inflammation first. Like that is one of my guidelines that I really don't stray from. So that's when it's like we're gonna start treating the hydration aspect and then the inflammation. Then we can go into the more intense products like a glycolic or a salicylic, that type of thing. Now, if it's just like congestion, like you're seeing like, you know, closed and open comedones where it's not like a ton of inflammation, then you can have a lot of fun with different exfoliants. I prefer leave-on exfoliants, so like our Hydro Bright Pro 5, that's a 10% lactic acid blend, and I love that one. It's even a good like toner if you wanted to use other products to go a little bit deeper, but like our Beta Clarity BHA
Really?
serums.
I'm going to stop you now.
Sorry.
So I have not heard that. So you can use that one as a toner?
Yeah, if your skin can handle it. The pH is
Wow.
3.5. It's a 3.5 pH. So even though it's an exfoliant, it's close enough to the skin's natural pH that like you don't have to neutralize it. Now,
Okay.
for those that are listening, definitely get your professional's opinion on that before you start going nuts with it, because your barrier may be impaired and it may not feel that great if that's the case.
Yeah.
But if you have like, if your skin is, you know, you've been working on it, you can handle certain ingredients. Yeah, absolutely. I love Pro 5. I'm like
That is
plugging
a
all
cool
these
little-
products.
Yeah, that is a cool little tip. The complexion pads work
Yes.
amazing.
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. Teenagers especially, just because they're so quick. They're quick and
Right.
easy, and you don't really have to put a lot of thought to them. So it's like you're getting a lot of good stuff packed into one quick application.
I mean, it comes in a container, and you just grab one, and then you can just apply it, or you can spot treat it, or you can do it all
Yeah.
over. It just depends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And I don't know about you, but I'm a big proponent of tools. So I love LED lights. I love high frequency. I just
yeah.
think that those make such an impact in paired with great skincare.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and it's, you know, a lot of us SDs, like in school, we learned how to do like the whole rolling technique with extractions and all that type of stuff. And it's just like I went to a holistic school and that was pretty much it. But once I actually got out in the field, that's when we were learning more about different types of modalities and stuff like that. I actually got hands-on training with it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff's amazing. You know, like even if you're doing like a chemical peel, as long as it's not too sensitized, like yes, you can absolutely do LED, you know, after like, you know, a level 1 peel, or do high frequency after that if you're really trying to kill that bacteria. Like you're basically getting it from all angles. Your products are acting sort of like that topical, and then your modalities can go a little bit deeper into the skin, so you're actually coming at it like that.
Oh, 100%. And
Yeah.
especially when you're talking about inflammation with the skin, the LED lights, I've seen such a tremendous difference with the LED lights. They actually make the acne look more of that flesh colored look. So
Yeah.
then you're at least not seeing it so much. So I have some incredible like before and after shots, and even though sometimes acne, it's still there, just to even have the color difference, more flesh toned,
Oh
just
yeah.
it makes you feel that person more confident. Like, okay, they can't see it. It's not so visible, just, red all over your skin for sure.
Oh yeah, it's helping with that inflammation too. I mean,
Oh,
honestly, like
yeah.
seriously, that inflammation is, in my opinion, like 60% of a lot of acneic issues, and people don't even realize like really what it is that's bothering them so much is typically the redness, the heat, that type of thing, and
Yeah.
LED can totally help with that.
Yes, and as we're recording this, we're in the heat of summer, so it's just so important to really watch the sun, especially with acne, because it can trigger that inflammation. To have that sunscreen on, I know you are. I'm with my hat is.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
It's
I
crazy.
I have a dirty little secret. I'm actually super pale. I just do fake tanner. So
Oh yeah, I love that.
you will not see me in the sun or in a tanning bed, but I love my self tanner.
Me too. I do too. Absolutely. Yes, I just went river rafting this weekend, and everybody was all tanned and real tan, and I just said, forget it. Had a spray tan on. I'm good to go, and I look just like them.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, nobody knows. Okay, so I know that a lot of clients and people get so overwhelmed with like the order to apply the products, and when should they do more of their treatments, night or morning, or what should they do? So I'd love to go into a little bit more detail about the order of the products and what you recommend.
Yeah, I mean there is sort of like a general rule of thumb, and as far as like the order of your products go, it's cleanser first, then tone, and then whatever like your targeted product is, and then like your finishing product. So, for example, like at nighttime, let's say you are, really trying to work on acne, you may cleanse, tone. You could use like a retinol or something, and then if you needed to spot treat afterwards, depending on like what your medical professional says or your licensed professional says. Sometimes people don't put a moisturizer over a retinol. It just kind of depends on like what the formulation asks for, but that's usually how it goes. In the daytime, it'll be like cleanse, tone, your antioxidant protection, and then like SPF moisturizer, that type of thing. So that's usually how we go. Now, when it comes to what you should use when, your skin goes through the most amount of transformation at night. So if you want to really make the most amount of transformation, you're going to be using your more intense products at night. Typically, too, a product like a retinol is photosensitive. So it's going to be broken down by UVA and UVB, so you wouldn't be wanting to use that during the daytime anyways, because it's basically going to make it null and void. So you would want to use that overnight so that it doesn't get broken down, and it doesn't sensitize you too. But during the daytime, it's really about hydrating, protecting, and then nighttime is going to be your transformation.
I love adding a vitamin C in the morning too, before my sunscreen, just to make it work, more.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, sorry.
I was just gonna say, and I'm pretty sensitive too, so I do have to sometimes add that moisturizer over my retinol just to cut it just a little bit.
Oh yeah, and that's very common because especially if you're not used to using a retinol, particularly for treating acne, it can be really intense at first. We have retinol receptors in our skin, and it's basically encouraging the desquamation process, cell shedding.
That's right.
Yeah, my little science nerd coming out. But basically, that retinol is encouraging the skin to shed faster. That way, you can get that new baby skin quicker. That's why you see people that are like on Accutane, like it's quick, it's rough, it's starting from the inside out, whereas a topical is not going to really go down that deep. But if your skin's not used to having that retinol in there, it's going to be really dry, it's going to be kind of itchy, it's going to flake, it may even kind of look like a chemical peel sometimes in some like dry or sensitive areas. So if you need to add something else to cut it, absolutely do that.
I will also point out, and you mentioned this in our last podcast, that if you do get a peel, you don't always have to peel. Like your skin does not have to flake, because like peels have modernized, they have become more advanced. So it really just depends on how your skin is. Everybody's going to be different. Some people may flake, some people may not flake. So I just wanted to just re-emphasize that from our last show, but that's just really important, because I actually just had a client that said, well, I didn't peel last time. I thought I would peel. But like, you don't always have to peel. It's okay.
No. You know, and it's funny too, because modern peel formulations, they don't hardly peel at all. Technology's getting better, faster, stronger, smarter every day.
Right.
So keep that in mind too. Like that whole old idea of like you have to like really peel it's pretty outdated too at this point. And for the most part, those ones that are like really intense, you can really only get those done by doctors. Now, with that said, there are obviously peel formulations that you're not going to peel from, and then there are peel formulations that you will peel from. And then even then, if it's designed to peel your skin, where you are in your skin journey may dictate whether or not you even do peel. I mean, the healthier your skin is, the less likely it is to peel, right? Like if you have really, really healthy skin, I mean, what is it targeting? Like everything's fine, you know what I mean? So I found myself a couple times where I'm like, yes, I did like a really intense one, I'm finally gonna get it, I'm so excited because like I really want to peel, blah 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 blah, and then nothing happens because I have been taking such good care of my skin for so long that it's like there's like nothing for it to target.
I love how you said that. Yeah, I don't peel that much. I mean, I sometimes get slightly flaky, but yeah, I've been an esthetician for years now, so my skin is also used to that. So it's just taking care of it on an ongoing basis. So it's another reason to go and get with your esthetician. She can do your peels on a regular basis, and your skin doesn't have that once a year, like annual, mega peel. You don't need that. You can just continue it all year long.
Oh, absolutely. And like when it comes to professional exfoliation, like specifically, as an esthetician, like we have the capabilities to basically interrupt your cell cycle, right? So, and I think we might have touched base on this the last podcast too, but basically, as you age, that cell cycle slows down, and different people say different things, but the way I learned it is basically at 28, that's like when your cell cycle basically slows down. And so for however old you are, that's how many days it is. So if you're 28, it's going to take 28 days for a full cell cycle. If you're 35, it's going to be 35 days for a full cell cycle. If you're 40, so on and so forth. So you think about that, and it's like, how many times can I interrupt this cell cycle in order to get that fresh baby skin? And the more times you do it, the more times your skin learns like, oh my gosh, I'm constantly under attack, so I constantly have to be like refreshing myself. It's the same thing with microneedling, right? It's like, oh my god, we're getting stabbed a million times all the time. We have to constantly be producing collagen. So if you do it enough, you're actually like retraining your skin how to work. So it's just, that's why you say like, get a series. You want to see some changes, get a series. We've got to interrupt that enough times to where the body expects it to happen, and then it's just naturally going to start doing those things itself.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. You guys, you're still doing the peel in a box?
Yes, we are. And we actually just released a new one. Our Hydrobrite AHA Glow Peel is now the lactic acid. So we have a retinol, a glycolic, and a lactic.
Oh wow, all for the peel in a box?
Yep, absolutely.
So how would people, if they're just buying that on your website, how are they going to know which one to get?
Well, see, that's the thing, is that they're still highly encouraged to be talked about with your esthetician.
Right.
The thing is certain ingredients, your skin's not always gonna love them, right? And
right.
We do have a couple of things, like some information on the website, but really the design for these products is to work hand in hand with professional exfoliation. Now you can use them as like a prep, as a skin prep, because they are modified from the professional peels. The pHs are different. They still have some of those key ingredients, but you're seeing differences in percentages. I mean, there's all different types of things, because like we're not going to give the consumer a professional grade peel, you know. But what we are going to do is we're going to give it professional ingredients, and it has enough good stuff in there that it can definitely help prep the skin. It can help in between treatments. If you're wanting to kind of like cut up your treatment time, like say you're like a busy on the go person and you can't come in every 4 to 6 weeks, you could use this instead. It's not going to be as impactful, but by purchasing it through your esthetician, you're supporting your local business, and also keeping up with that specific treatment plan created by your Esty. So
Yes,
that's what
please
we
support
really
your local
wanted to do.
business.
Yes. So that was
I
really
had a client the other
goal.
day. I was at the front desk checking her out, and she. It's like, I'll just get you that product. Oh, I'll just buy it online. I'm like, I'm right here.
Like, no,
right
what
here.
are you doing?
What are you doing? No.
I know.
I'll
my
take care of it.
It's heartbreaking when that kind of thing happens. It's like, I thought we were friends.
I know. I'm like, I'll take care of it. I'll have it mailed to your house, but give me a chance.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
and
just
we've got
remember
drop
that as you
shipping.
listen here. Gosh,
Yeah,
that was so
like,
funny.
we have drop shipping now. So, I mean, for all of those listening, like, go to your Glow retailer and say, and order it through them, because they can actually get it shipped to your house directly from corporate, and it would take the same amount of time. So,
Oh, I thought you guys stopped drop shipping.
no, we're still doing it.
You're still doing it?
Yes, we
Yes.
are. So,
Oh, woohoo.
yeah.
Okay, good to know. I had no idea, so I'm so glad I asked you that. Okay, so just a couple more things. I wanted to ask, here's a question. What do you, so a lot of teenagers will come and say, I'm tired of being on a steroid from my dermatologist. What do you normally, and they're like, I want to get off of that. So what are like the top products from Glow for treating your acneic clients? Like what have you seen, or Glow as a whole, like the best results?
Well, our Beta Clarity BHA serum, formerly known as Renew Serum, has always
Yes.
been our number one for a reason. Like, it is such an impactful product.
It's a good
now,
one.
Honestly, if you're working with a dermatologist, like, definitely make sure that your client's having that conversation with them before you get too involved. But this particular serum has salicylic acid, retinol, and glycolic all at really small percentages, but it's also extremely hydrating. Like, this is one that you don't have to follow up with a moisturizer, and it's transformational. It's honestly
It is truly
transformational.
nice.
Like, that's
It
one
helps
of
with your
those, like-
hyperpigmentation too, which I
yeah,
like.
absolutely. The retinol in there does what it's supposed to
Everything.
do. The salicylic in there does it what it's supposed to do. I mean, you're targeting your oil production, hyperpigmentation, texture, all of it, and it's a level 1 product. So it's also a great introductory product. Like, for a teenager, skin is skin. It's gonna act the same thing. Some people think that they have to be like more sensitive, wary, or whatever with teenagers. That's not necessarily the case, because skin is skin is skin is skin, as one of my teammates said the other day, and I was like,
Yeah.
I love that so much. So they can use a product like this, and you can even level them up, as they get older, or if things change. So yeah, that's always my go-to. I do like our clear skin cleanser too, just because it's a lot of times, like, teenagers won't use a bunch of different products. So if you can get them like a cleanser, or like the complexion pads, that's kind of when you start to think about what's going to work with somebody's lifestyle, or what are they actually going to use.
That's
but yeah,
true.
any of those are phenomenal.
And the clear skin cleanser that has that salicylic acid in it, I give everyone a tip. So I get a lot of sebaceous filaments, which what those are looks like blackheads on your nose and your T-zone, but that's not. It's just extra oil that's oxidized. I get them all the time, and I love using the clear skin cleanser. I'll massage it in my skin for 90 seconds. and get them nice and loose to come out. And then when I get out of the shower, I use a skin scrubber, like the oscillating devices, and I'll just pop them out.
I love it. Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just an easy way. Then I'm not, mashing myself to death trying to like squeeze
Yes.
everything out.
Which no
And
one should ever do, by the way. My gosh, my
no,
husband is the worst about it. He'll come out of the bathroom and I could see it from across the room. I'm like, you messed with your
What are you
face,
doing?
didn't you? He's
I
like,
know.
no.
No, I tell you, those skin scrubbers you can get them off Amazon now. They are the best. I mean, I just
Yeah.
can just you go so fast.
Oh, yeah, they're amazing. Oh, I love them.
Yeah, and there's not that much. You can just isolate each pore. I love to turn it, use the edge, and get it. It's just great. But
Oh,
this
yeah.
clear skin cleanser is wonderful. Okay, so you've got that. You've got the Renew Serum, complexion pads. Your oil-free moisturizer is very lovely, by the way.
Oh,
I
my
use
gosh.
it all the time.
Yes, and we have our oil-free SPF 40 plus too, which
Yes.
if you are undergoing any type of changes in the skin, especially when you're dealing with acne, like you still have to protect it from UVA and UVB radiation because you risk pigmenting, and especially if you're already working on pigmentation that came, like say from acne scarring and things like that. If you're not protecting it, you're risking making that worse. So always make sure you're wearing SPF. And then another thing a lot of acne clients don't think about is antioxidant protection, which glow products typically are chock full of. Like we have some products that are specifically for antioxidant protection, but I mean, like even our makeup has vitamins A, C, and E and green tea extract in it. Like there's like an antioxidant blend in there. Acneic clients really need that antioxidant protection because you have to protect it from that radiation, and especially pollution. Like pollution is so bad at aggravating acne, and any type of antioxidant is going to help prevent that.
So to add to that, I would say just a reminder to add those hyaluronic drops, and then the what was it called again? The I'm having a
The
moment.
Daily Power C.
No, the other drops, the
Was it the EGF, the BioRenew
EGF.
Yeah.
I like had a moment. Yeah. Those drops are awesome, and that reduces calms the skin, reduces inflammation. I love keeping all of these products, by the way, in my skin fridge, so they're nice and cooling for the skin. I love. Do you have a skin fridge?
I do not know, but I do have ice globes that I keep.
What?
Yeah. I do not.
We got to get you a skin fridge.
I know. Well, I will tell you, in my defense, we did just move in December, and we did just have a baby, so we'll get there one day.
Okay.
One day.
Free pass. I did want to say, we didn't touch on it that much, but makeup is also key. And I love how your makeup is mineral based, so it's just sitting on the top of the skin. It's, not disrupting anything. It's so light. I'm actually wearing that today. So I have the primer on, the concealer, and the tinted. I love the tinted moisturizer.
Wow.
When I need it a little heavier, I'll do the primer, and then I'll do 2 coats of actually, because I'm recording today.
Yeah.
So I did 2 coats of it. I even will mix it with a little bit of my moisturizer, and then I'll add on the pressed base powder.
Yes.
And you can make it a little bit heavier, like for recording days. I have a large kabuki brush. It just like the way it's milled, it just goes on a lot. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Is that what you're wearing?
I'm wearing a
do you
pressed
have?
powder and our tinted primer today with concealing some of the little breakouts that I have. But yeah, so like I said, vitamins A, C, and E with that green tea extract that's in there. We also have 24 shade ranges, which we're really proud of with our press base. So we are definitely, getting more inclusive with shades, which with minerals can be really difficult to do. We're super proud of what we've been able to do with our minerals. It's also got, we have some that have extra SPF protection. So like our tinted primer has an SPF of 30. Our luminous has 18. Our moisturizing tints have 30 as well. So we're really trying to make sure that the skin is staying healthy and nourished. And one of the things I tell people too, because I am an esthetician by trade, like not a makeup artist. And I, for the longest time, was like so many other estheticians. It was like, I do not do makeup. I don't touch makeup. That's not what I do. I am skincare, blah, blah, blah. Which, if that's your view on it, totally fine. I get it. But it does help to have that information in your back pocket because your clients may not be makeup people. They may very much be makeup people.
Right.
And just remember that, like, if they're going to be wearing makeup, you have to make sure that they're wearing something that's non-comedogenic, that's talc-free, that's actually going to be helping their skin, not harming it while they're undergoing all these transformations. Because, you know, if somebody's biggest concern is congestion and they're wearing something that's like full of talc, like they're basically negating everything you've done in the treatment room. And especially for like an acneic client, like they're going to keep using their makeup and they're going to think that you don't know what it is that you're doing, even though they're the ones that are continuously putting that stuff back in their skin. So it's really important to have those conversations of being like, hey, what are you putting on afterwards? Because we want to make sure that every single thing you're using is going to go hand in hand with the changes that we're trying to make today.
Great point, Anne. I love that. That is such a good point. You can feel confident that after you've done your treatment with Glow and your client has to go back to work or they have, you know, dinner with the girls or whatever, that you can actually put on the Glow makeup products and their skin can still breathe. And they still look glowy. I mean, I always have a glow, you know, with my makeup on. So that's what I also love about it. As you mature, you want a little bit of glow coming through.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so, everybody wants to glow. We're a glow skin beauty, honey. Like
that's
what
right.
We do.
That's what you do. That's right. 100%. So, is there anything else that you would love to talk about with acne that you think that the listeners would benefit from? Any tips or anything like that?
Yeah, I think just. Don't be hard on yourself if you're dealing with it. There's a statistic that I read that like adult acne is on the rise, right? Like it's getting worse every year. It's
really?
The number one concern. Yeah. It's the number one skincare concern. Like it's up there with, you know, aging concerns, and it has to do with, you know, the way our society functions, right? A little bit of sleep, a lot of bit of caffeine, and we work a lot. You know, work hard, play hard. That's how we do it. But it's so normal for anybody at any point in their life to undergo changes in the skin, and you know, just don't be so hard on yourself because you're not alone in this. It's a hard thing, but there are ways that can treat it, even if it seems impossible. Just don't pick at your skin, please.
Don't pick and don't strip it too much. We don't need to strip it. We don't need to scrub with those little electronic things like all the time. Our skin needs to have something on it.
Well, and that's a really good point, and especially for your listeners that are not estheticians, like a lot of people, they don't realize that like when your skin feels squeaky clean, that it's probably not good for it. So if you are an oil phobic person who you just like, you have to feel dry, you know, you want it to feel a certain way, just keep in mind that depending on the ingredients or whatever manual exfoliation that you're doing, like you are changing the pH of that top part of your skin, right? Like there's a certain balance that needs to be in. Most people are around 5.5, but I mean, we consider healthy to be 4.5 to like 6-ish. And if you are stripping the skin too much, you are changing that pH. And what's happening is your skin's like, oh my gosh, they're taking all this oil and water away from me. I don't have any water to give it, so I'm just going to give it more oil. And so by giving it more oil, we'll be able to hydrate. Well, what happens when there's more oil, right? It gets in the follicles, then you get that P. acne bacteria, and that's when you get that snowball effect. So if you're feeling like you're using too many products, you probably are. Or if you feel like you're overstripping your skin, you probably are. And that's when you can add things like a hyaluronic acid just to kind of add a little bit of hydration that's going to give it a little bit of health and nourishment, and get that skin back to that happy medium.
I was about to say, if there are the people that are going to say, well, I don't care. I've got to feel like I am cleaning my skin. They love that squeaky clean feel. So, okay, we've got to work with you then. So if you have to have that, then you've got, like you said, you've got to add more when you get out of the shower. Let's first tone our face. Not with the Pro 5 though, probably at that point we need to actually just, use a pH balanced toner, like the conditioning one, and then add that hyaluronic serum, and then, your moisturizer, and we have to get that moisture back into the skin somehow.
Yes,
So,
it has to, or else you're just going to continue experiencing the
more
acne.
and more.
Yeah, it'll worsen for sure.
Oh, I know the joys of an esthetician. We're like, we all have to work together though. So
Yes, it's a team. It's a partnership. That's what it is. We're partners.
Oh, the one thing we didn't go over is facial mask during the week, or to have a weekly facial mask. What is your
Yeah.
favorite one to use for acne skin? I forgot to ask that.
I love our charcoal detox mask. It's actually one of the newer products, and we are going through our skincare line's kind of going through like a revival right now. So you will see some names change, but everything's going to be updated by the end of the year. But I'm pretty sure charcoal detox mask is going to be staying the same. But you've got a bunch of really good clays that are going to help with that oil control. It's really good at cleaning without stripping. That's how I like to explain it. So.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
one. I do like that one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so so all the new products by the end of this year, and then just want to reemphasize, Glow is cruelty free. It's free of parabens, talc, mineral oil, sulfates, phthalates, and soon will be vegan and
Yes.
also free of artificial fragrances.
Correct. Yes. So we have a lot of vegan options, and we have for a long time, but we've never considered ourselves a vegan line, just because we did have some things like beeswax and stuff like that. And also we're a holistic brand, as in like cleanser and or skincare and beauty go together, like they're not separate. So like even if one line was, and I say holistic as in like a whole, not like, but like wholly. But yeah, so if one part of the brand was vegan but the other one wasn't, we were going to not brand ourselves as that. But now we're going through all these reformulations. Our master esthetician, Anna De La Cruz, is really heading that, which is amazing to work for a company where an esthetician is doing your formulations. Like, it's phenomenal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's so super
That's
cool.
great. That's so crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, as an SD makes our products.
I did
she's-
not. Okay, I did not know that.
Yeah,
So
it's so cool.
wow. Did she work with like a chemist? Is that how it's
yeah.
done? Or
Yeah,
Okay.
she's like me. She has a dermatological background. So we actually, when I first started working for the company, we just like geeked out on ingredients forever. It was awesome. She's one of the nicest people I've ever met, and honestly, she's brilliant. Our whole education team's phenomenal, but yeah, she's spearheading all of this, and she's basically bringing our products up to this century, because we've been around for a long time, and we did go through an update in 2017, but now we're like actually updating like the products, not just the marketing and stuff like that. So so we'll be 100% vegan by the end of the year.
Wow.
And then also all artificial fragrances are out the door, so it's all going to be based on
That's
essential
amazing.
oils. But yeah, and it's funny too, because some of the products that have already come out, so we used to have hydrating gel cleanser, and now it's the Hydro Bright AHA cleanser.
Right.
And it has this like citrusy lemon scent, and like I love it. It's smelling really good.
I cannot wait. Okay. Is that esthetician, is she in Colorado?
Yes.
Oh, well,
Yeah. And
I told you I was
honestly,
going to Colorado in the fall.
you may, if you go to our Instagram, I'm pretty sure she's done a couple of little videos. If you go on our Instagram, so just Glow Skin Beauty, you can actually see her on a couple of videos. So she's very involved and super hands-on. I mean, like, the thing that I love so much about our education team is like how accessible they are. So they're on Instagram. They're they have their classes. So for those of you that are licensed and you work for an account, you can go to the resource center, see our webinars. You can log up for their webinars. They're usually 30 minutes. They'll do like little demos and stuff. I mean, they're very accessible people, which is such a cool thing about working for this company.
It's huge as a spa owner to also be able to, you've got to keep your team educated. Skincare changes and the brand changes. Like, just like you said, we formulating things, and you've got to keep the team educated and up to date, and also just things change in our industry rapidly. So I love how every month I get a list of the webinars, and I actually just forward it to my team and I say, hey, pick whichever one that interests you and just block yourself off the calendar, and they can do it. They don't have to like be at the spa. They can do it at home. They can just watch the webinar. They just clock in and watch it, and then that way it keeps their education up, and they can be in their PJs and watch it. I don't care, just as long as they're learning. So.
Yeah, and honestly, they have so much good information on those little webinars. Like, it's just, sometimes I'll just kind of like hop in just to listen while I'm like, answering emails.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's perfect. So thank you guys for doing that for sure.
Yeah.
You guys are so awesome. Okay, so for all things Glow Skin Beauty, make sure to follow their social channels. They'll be listed in the show notes as well. But basically, it's very simple. It's Glow Skin Beauty on everything. And I'm hoping you guys will get more on TikTok. It's my jam right now, TikTok.
Yes, I love TikTok, honestly. But mine's not so much skincare. It's mostly like cat videos, but
That's fun. Yeah, TikTok's a dangerous to get on. You were like, wait a minute, what was I here for?
Right.
It's so
that For You
addictive.
page is always changing, and I like literally. There's some nights where I'll put the baby to bed and I'll just be on the couch with a glass of wine, and I'm like, I've been here for an hour looking at this app.
Oh yeah, it's addictive though. There's one by like Trader Joe's and like all the Trader Joe's stuff. Do you have a Trader Joe's near you?
Yes, I love Trader Joe's.
Oh my gosh, it's like the latest stuff. And last time I went into Trader Joe's, I gave them like all this list, and they're like, "Man, we don't have that at this location. We don't have that here." What? He's like, "Where are you finding all this stuff?" I'm like, "TikTok." He's like, oh, "Okay." But check out Glow Skin Beauty. Also check out their hashtag Glow Skin Beauty too, because that just gives you, what their pros and consumers have to say about their products. And also, you guys are awesome. You're doing a giveaway with us. I'm so excited. So head to my latest Instagram, Lindsey our Holder, and you guys are going to be able to get into the giveaway for. And you're going to have to help me out with this, but it's one treatment in a box and the breakout and blemish solutions kit. So what exactly are in those two boxes?
Yeah, so the treatment in a box, it'll be an acne-focused peel in a box. Yes, one of the great things about those is they have instructions, so you don't even have to worry about what goes where. It has everything that you need from start to finish. And then the Breakout Solutions Kit is actually a new kit that we are launching for Acne Month, and it has 3 full-size products in it. I'm having mommy brain right now, and I'll give you the information here in a
I'll have
second.
it in the show notes. Show notes, everybody. It'll be there. So, Anne, it is always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. I learned so much every time I speak with you. You're just like a well of knowledge. So I'm very impressed by you, and I'm just so thankful to always have you a part of our journey at the spa. And then thank you so much for educating our clients.
Absolutely. I am here for you guys. I am always here if you need me.
All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.